The Horse That Wanted to Be a Unicorn. In a land where there were pots of gold at the end of every rainbow and where a wish upon a shooting star came true, there lived a horse called Lucky. Lucky was a big light brown horse with big eyes, white hooves, and a beautiful black mane and tail. He was a happy horse because he had a nice pen, many other horses to play with, and a little girl who loved him very much. Lucky loved the girl very much too, and he always tried his very best to make her smile. It was a very pretty smile. The little girl always smiled when she went to ride with Lucky or when she was cleaning and taking care of him. They always played and laughed together, and they were the best friends ever. The little girl always made sure that Lucky had enough food, and his pen was always warm and full of fresh hay. And even if she wasn't really supposed to, the little girl always gave him an extra apple. Lucky really liked eating apples. The little girl was always so nice to Lucky that he decided he wanted to do something nice for her. But Lucky didn't know what to do for her. There were a lot of things she wanted, but none that a horse could do. Lucky went to ask his other horse friends, but they didn't know what Lucky could do for his little girl either. He asked the birds and mice and all the other animals he knew, but none had any good ideas. One day, a little bird flew by and saw that Lucky was sad, and went over to him and asked why he was so upset. Lucky liked the bird and told him all about his worries. The bird knew the little girl. She always gave the bird food when it flew over her window, so it really wanted to help Lucky. The bird thought about what they could do and got an idea. "I know how you can do something nice for your little girl," the bird said. "You can become a unicorn." "A unicorn?" Lucky asked. He didn't know what a unicorn was, but if the bird thought his little girl would like it, he would try. "Yes," the bird chirped. "A unicorn is a magical white horse with a sparkly mane and a big horn on its forehead. It can run on rainbows and do all kinds of other magical things." The bird had seen a lot of pictures of unicorns all over the little girl's room, and it knew the girl would be really happy if she could have a real one. Lucky liked the bird's idea. He really wanted to try it, but Lucky had no idea how he could become a unicorn. The little bird didn't know either, and Lucky became sad again. "Maybe you can try a rainbow," the bird said hopefully. "They say that if you run under a rainbow, the leprechauns will change you. Maybe they can change you into a unicorn if you ask them nicely." Lucky wasn't sure if that would work, but neither of them knew what else they could try. Lucky knew that if he wanted to find a rainbow, he'd had to wait for a very special day when it was raining, but he could still see the sun. Lucky didn't know when a day like that would come, so he would have to wait. He asked the bird to help him try to find out about other things he could do to become a unicorn. The bird flew all over town asking other birds if they knew anything and looking at books. He went to visit the little girl a lot too, and sometimes she was looking at a big box with moving pictures. It also made sounds, and a lot of times the pictures were about unicorns. The bird spent a lot of time looking at the strange box, hoping one of the pictures would show him something. The box gave the bird 3 ideas, and it flew off to tell Lucky. The first idea they tried was to try pixie dust. This was a special world, and it had many different types of pixies, but the pixies didn't like to share their dust. Lucky and his new friend talked to all the pixies they could find. There were green pixies, blue pixies, and even a few little red ones. Many of the pixies were pink or purple, and there were more yellow and orange ones than Lucky could count. There was even a white pixie, and those are very, very hard to find. Every time Lucky talked to one of the pixies, he had to do something for them before they would give him some of their pixie dust. For some pixies, he had to do little tricks and jump over fences while they watched. Other pixies said their wings were tired and Lucky had to carry them around all day. There were a few pixies who just wanted to play a little, and they would give him a bit after he let them braid the hair in his mane and tail. The white pixie was the only one who didn't ask Lucky for anything, and she was happy to give Lucky as much pixie dust as he wanted. The little bird took some pixie dust and sprinkled it all over Lucky. They used one color of pixie dust at a time, but all it did was change Lucky's color for a short while. Even mixing the colors didn't help. Only the white dust did something different. It made Lucky fly a little bit above the ground, but he could only do it for 1 minute. The next idea Lucky and the bird tried was a magical spell. The bird flew from house to house, taking all the little pieces of chalk and crayon that no one wanted anymore, and Lucky went into the field to collect flowers and herbs. The bird had told him to get special plants, but not which ones, so Lucky picked up any flower that looked special or magical and brought them all back to his pen. When Lucky's little girl saw all the flowers when she came to visit him, she laughed and put the flowers in his hair. The little girl liked the flowers, and Lucky decided he would give them all to her once the spell was done. Because the spell had to happen on a full moon, Lucky and the bird had to wait a few days. All that time, Lucky hoped it would rain so that he could find a rainbow, but there wasn't a cloud in the sky. On the night when they wanted to try the spell, the bird came to Lucky's pen and started drawing special pictures all over the floor. The bird saw the pictures in that strange box and tried its best to make them look just right. The bird then spread the flowers everywhere. When the moon was high and made the night look pretty and light, the bird began to say the magical words that would turn Lucky into a unicorn. When they were done, they waited for the spell to work, but nothing happened. They tried the spell 5 times, but at the end, Lucky was still just a normal brown horse. Lucky was very disappointed, but the bird told him that they still had another plan. This was a very easy plan. All Lucky had to do was make a wish on a shooting star. Lucky spent the rest of that night looking at the sky, hoping he would see a star fly by, but all the stars stayed right where they were. For many weeks, Lucky waited. In the daytime, he waited for the rain to come, and at night he watched the stars. There were never any shooting stars, so Lucky couldn't make a wish. And the few times it rained, there weren't any rainbows. Lucky became very sad because he couldn't become a unicorn and do something special for his little girl. The bird always tried to cheer him up and tell him that their plan would work if he waited a little longer. But Lucky didn't think it would. Even if he did find a rainbow or a shooting star, Lucky was beginning to think that maybe nothing would happen, just like the other 2 times they tried. Even his little girl noticed how sad Lucky was, and she didn't know how to make him happy again. She gave him more apples and took him out to ride more. Being with the girl made Lucky happy for a while. Even his little girl noticed how sad Lucky was, and she didn't know how to make him happy again. She gave him more apples and took him out to ride more. Being with the girl made Lucky happy for a while, but he became sad again as soon as she had to go home again. Lucky didn't like making his girl worry like that, but there was nothing he could do. One day, while Lucky and his girl were riding, it began to rain a little, but it didn't become as dark as usual. Lucky's bird friend came flying out of nowhere and told Lucky to hurry up. Lucky didn't know what the bird meant until it showed him that there, far away, was a rainbow. Lucky began to hope. Maybe the rainbow could work after all. It wouldn't hurt to try. Without waiting for his girl to climb off his back, he began to run. He jumped over all the fences and around every tree that was in his way as he tried to reach the rainbow. The girl didn't know what was going on, and she tried to stop Lucky, but he just kept running. He ran and ran until his legs were sore and it was hard to breathe, but he finally made it to the rainbow. Lucky was nervous and a little scared as he looked at where he had to walk under the rainbow. He'd never thought about what a big change it would be to become a unicorn. But then he remembered his little girl and took the last few steps. As soon as he passed under the rainbow, he changed. He became as white as snow. Then he had hundreds of different colors in his mane and tail, and he had a huge horn on his forehead. Lucky was so happy he began to dance. His little girl was so surprised and amazed, and she laughed. "I'm so glad you like my gift," Lucky said. "This is a gift?" Lucky and the girl were both surprised when the girl understood what Lucky had said. The girl could never understand him before, but they were both glad about it. Lucky finally got to tell his girl how much he loved and how long he wanted to do something special for her. This made the little girl feel warm and fuzzy inside, and she hugged Lucky's neck. "Silly horse," she said. "You didn't have to do all this. Letting me ride you is the most special thing you could ever do for me." This made Lucky feel very loved. Lucky saw that his girl was getting sleepy and turned around to bring her home. However, when he walked under the rainbow again, he changed back into a normal horse, and his girl couldn't hear his words anymore. It was a big surprise for Lucky, but it didn't make him sad because he got to let his girl know how much he cared, and he knew she would always love him, even if he wasn't a unicorn.